All right, guys, I got one more for you. So I showed you how to take off the handrail, which is relatively easy. It's equally as easy to take off the guardrail too. So we're going to do another duplicate. We're just going to say guardrail only, or I'm sorry, handrail only, and pipe. So here, it's a little different. What you need to do is go into the rail structure and get rid of some of these. So what you're seeing here, and I'm going to explain this without actually asking you to design one of these. You have balusters and you have rails. The balusters are the vertical pieces. The rails are these. So you kind of just add them however you wish, and then create whatever profile they're supposed to be, and then go from there. But so I'm going to delete, and that gets rid of all of the rails. But if I hit OK here, you're going to see that it still has the balusters. So if you guys are familiar with those like single pipe railings that you sometimes see on like small, just a couple stairs, usually outdoors, that's what you would use here. It's just a top rail with a baluster, and that's it. So back into edit type. We also have baluster placement, and the baluster placement menu is a little bit funky. It's a little bit difficult to work with as well. You can't really delete everything. If you select this, you can't delete that one. So what you have to do is actually just select none for the regular baluster. So if you hit OK and hit OK, you're going to look at it here and you're going to see that it's mostly just the rail, but it still has an end baluster. So going back in then, now you have to go down to the bottom, and the bottom is a little bit easier to work with, I guess. You just need to turn them all off. Okay, now that got rid of the balusters and the rails, but it did not get rid of your top rail. So similarly to your handrail, now you just need to turn off the top rail by selecting the profile and saying none. So you hit OK, and then all you have now, hello? And then all you have now is, oh, I forgot I have that. And then all you have now is your handrail. Okay, so it is important to note that handrails are basically just going to be a single pipe. They're not really going to do anything fancy at the bottom. The detail of a handrail is, let me find a pipe handrail termination. I'm trying to find a good example of a handrail. Ah, yeah, there you go. So this is a good example of like a pipe handrail termination, where at the end it kind of like turns back to the wall. That's because there are code requirements for not having, gaps at the end, so you can't snag and catch. So anyway, we simulate that. We don't show the whole curve. Theoretically, we could. Actually, I don't know that I've ever tried to show the whole curve. But let's go to Edit Path. And in theory, we can just take this and draw it back 1.5 inches. Right, and it's going to go back like that. I guess if you wanted to do a curve, this is new territory for me. I've never done this. Wow, that looks weird. Oh, I know why. Very important note, guys. So the reason that tiny little curve that I drew made such a big curve in the model is because there's this thing called a railing offset. And a railing offset basically means where did I draw the profile line and where does the railing actually exist. The interesting thing about the family here, with it being a handrail, when I go to edit type, see how the position says, oh, I don't want that actually. Why is that offset there? Stuck at 3. I think that's what we want, is none. No. I don't know why this is blocked out. Hang on. Okay, so I don't know exactly what's going on with this handrail, guys, but we have some things we can do. What I would like you to do is delete that handrail because I think the profile got a little messed up. If you go to edit path, you see the profile's all the way back there. And I think it just has to do with transitioning it from a guardrail handrail configuration to just a handrail. So delete that. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to draw a railing, or a handrail rather, specifically for the stair. So I'm just going to go to architecture, railing, and we're going to say sketch path. Okay, so in sketch path, I'm going to draw this railing straight down along the stair and hit check. And you'll see that it shows up on the first floor. What I need to do is pick the host. Let me grab that again. Go into floor plan, pick the host, and I'm going to put it on the stair. So now it shows up on the stair, but it happens to be on the other side of the path. So, and that is where, when you go to edit type, it says left or right. This should switch it to the other side. Does that make sense?
Yes, Kevin.
Okay, now, the other element that you need to be aware of is what's called offset from path. I don't know why this is still 3 inches.
I think you may have to edit the family.
Well, it's some, I don't know. It's been a while since I've done this, and oh, look at that, you can flip this. I didn't know that was there either. Okay, so anyway, I'm confusing you guys. So the profile is set to be 3 inches to the center line. Okay, so if I go to the bottom of my railing and I draw something from here to here, and I dimension that to that, that's 3 inches. That's where that value is coming from. We also have what's called an offset from path. So this handrail, if I wanted to make it even more or less, I would need to change this. So if I don't want it to be 2 1/4 space from the stringer, I could move it to, let's say I want it to be 1 1/2. I could make this a negative 3/4 of an inch. Oh, whoops, just 3/4 of an inch. Went the wrong way. What did I do there? Hang on. Oh, yeah, that's weird. So, dimension, there to there, 2 1/4. That's weird, it didn't move. Oh, because I went to the center line, my bad. That's right. There, 1 1/2 inches. Okay, so that's kind of a common thing when you have it right up against the wall. So if I had my stair with the inside of the stringer right up against the wall, right? So it's kind of like built into the wall so you don't actually see the stringer, which is what you usually do in a residential construction. I'm going to move this back to the wall. And that handrail is going to be 1 1/2 inches from the wall. Okay, so that's the important part of that. So anyway, let's get back into the profile now. So now the profile gets a little funky because of that offset. This needs to extend. I'm going to pretend that that's 11 inches. I'm not going to get crazy about it right now. And then I need to put, I'm only going to do, well, I'll do the whole foot. Why not? And then I actually need to draw this back into the wall, something like 1 1/2 inches. So when I hit check, that 1 1/2 inches was too long. Probably just a 1/2 inch. Still too long. Anyway, why is that so much longer? I don't like that 3 inch offset thing. It's screwing me up. But you get the idea. I'll figure out the 3 inch offset thing at some point. But you do get the idea, right? So if we drew it exactly on the line, we'd be able to turn it in and stop it a little bit short and make it all perfect and stuff. But you generally don't need to worry about that, because usually if you just show the handrail like this, when you get into your elevations and stuff, like when you look at it there, nobody can really tell that the edge of that is going to be flat or round, because you're going to have to detail that anyway. And as long as you put a bubble here that refers to the detail and shows what it actually is, nobody's going to be questioning the actual elevation. Okay. What questions do you have? So sorry about that 3-inch thing, but we'll work through that and figure it out at some point.